Renewed Mind Revolution Podcast. A place that empowers, encourages, and informs. We'll break it through, we'll rise it strong. A brand new mindset where we belong. Empowered voices, hearts aligned. Encouraging truth, renewed in mind. It's the revolution. Let your spirit soar. We're here to lift you, give you so much more. Encourage and power, inform with love. A renewed mind journey, grace from above. Stepping in the purpose of wisdom lead, planting the seeds of faith we need. Hope ignites and visions clear. The revolution's calling, we're here. Empowered illusions, where we belong. A renewed mind journey, grace from above. It's the revolution, let your spirit soar. We're here to lift you, give you so much more. Encourage and power, form with love. A renewed mind journey, grace from above.
Yes. Welcome to Renewed Mind Revolution Podcast with your host, Michelle Cook Hall. As always, it is my honor and my pleasure to be able to come on here, assist you with some tips and some tools that I know will make you a better version of yourselves. As promised, 2025 will be different. It will be awesome. It will be great. And to start it off, I have a very special guest, and I promise you that, and I will and have delivered. This guest is someone I've known since I was maybe 17 or 18 years old, and we have been married this year in the month of March would be 28 years. 28 years. We have 3 grown children and 28 years under our belt, and that is a lot to say, especially in today's society. We have taken this time to come together to share some of the topics that we already talked about on this podcast. We're going to talk about relationships because, once again, we've been married for 28 years. We're going to talk about some of our religious views. We can do that. We don't do that with everybody, but we can do that. And we're going to share that here on this podcast. And we're going to talk about other things that we also talk about often on this podcast, which is taking care of yourselves, mental health, and all of those good tips and tools that we often share here on this podcast. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard me talk about him before, but you get to hear him again. His name is Ricky Hall. Welcome, Ricky, to Renewed Mind Revolution Podcast.
Hello, Renewed Mind Revolution Podcast.
Let me just forewarn you guys, he is a jokester, and he rarely has a filter, but he has been told over and over again that my audience do not necessarily like an unfiltered version of Ricky, but he's going to do his best and be on his best behavior.
No, I'm not.
Okay. He's going to try. He's going to try to be on his best behavior because he realizes the audience that we have. So, but what we want to do is make sure that we've been honest and kind of show you what our conversations are like off of the radio, off of a podcast. Often we come together because we've been married for so long. We've seen a lot of things together. We pretty much grew up together. So our conversations are about everything, and we don't need an audience for it, but we decided to share some of the experiences that we've had, the knowledge that we've had. We come from 2 different backgrounds that most people would have thought never would have worked, right? Yes. It's like night and day. And so most people really thought, this is being transparent, and we do this on this podcast. Most people really thought that Ricky and I would not have made it. And some people have was putting
They quantified it.
Right.
5 years.
5 years was like our cutoff. That's how long we were going to last. And so, the reason that they did that was because we were so different and we had 2 different backgrounds. But there is a saying that says that opposites
attract.
Right? Opposites attract. And I think over the years, what we feel like, I feel like, I don't want to speak for him, but I think we share this view, is that when you're opposite, you almost like a fill-in for each other in those areas. So there are moments where I am like overly emotional or overly upset and crashing out, and then he's like the calm of that storm. And there's moments where he's like, at his pinnacle moment and a little frustrated, and I'm the calm to his storm. It's just like these moments that you're able to fill in. There's experiences that I did not have, when we first got together. I was, a little sheltered, a little naive to certain things, and he had that experience. And then I had experience in areas that he had no idea about, and I was able to share with him. And I think it helped, and I think that's what they mean when they say opposites attract, because our differences helped us in ways that we needed it.
But it's not only that. It's a thing that a lot of people think that relationships have to be cookie cutter. We get so many people that talk about how their relationship does this and we do this and this is what should work for you, and that's not always the case.
Right.
When you realize that a relationship is not cookie cutter, is that each one of you all have your own individual personalities, and those personalities a lot of times mesh, and sometimes they don't. People that come together and say that, man, we never had an argument and we've been together for X number of years, that is an absolute fairy tale. See, she's unfiltered, not me. As an absolute fairy tale.
Lies.
You cannot go through a relationship with anyone, not even I guess I wouldn't say a marriage or being girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever you want to say. Being together in a relationship like that, you can't go through life together and not argue. That is an absolute falsehood. There's no way in the world you can do that, because you guys have two distinct personalities. You're opposite sex.
Right.
So there's going to be always some form of conflict.
Right.
Conflict
that alone
sometimes.
Yeah.
What how they say, men are from Venus or women are from Mars. How does it go?
Yeah, I think that's how it goes. Yeah.
So
it was a book about it.
Yeah. So we opposites do attract, and we're going to have difference in opinion. It's just when you have that difference in opinion, then you guys got to discuss it. You come together, you talk about it, and you work through it. And that's the key thing, working through it.
Yeah, I think one thing that you just said is like something I completely 150% agree with, which is that marriage is not cookie cutter. Like it's almost laughable. Every person that I've ever spoken to, when they've talked to me about marriage and their relationships or whatever, and they're frustrated at that particular moment, the first thing I tell them is, number one, stop talking to everybody. Because whatever goes on in their house and works for them is not going to work for you. And I don't think people really, really understand that. And, I'm good for calling people out on certain things. I think a lot of people who host marriage retreats and all that are not even qualified to do that, because if they are teaching people that here's the formula, then they're wrong.
Unless they live in that house with those people
right.
all the time.
The only formula that I think that will work, honestly, is that you make sure that you putting God in that, scenario. But that's the only center that I feel that it will work for any marriage, is that if you keep God in the center of that. But if you're telling them, you have to argue this way, argue that way, or, do this or do that, do this or do that.
There's another thing too, though. Is keeping God is forefront in a marriage. That's absolute forefront. But another thing too is the communication. The communication between the two people between us has to be second to having Christ in there, because we're talking, and even though sometimes
you weren't a good communicator.
I'm not.
He was awful communicator, and I love to communicate and I love to discuss. And at one point, he used to say, okay, once you've done all that talking, what does that solve? And I used to tell him, if you talk about things, you can get to the root of the issue. And if you don't talk about things and you don't get to the root of the issue, you're going to repeat the pattern of destruction over and over and over again.
And you know what? I'm like any typical male, is that, I would rather claw my eyes out than to have a long, drawn-out conversation, because I'm a root cause kind of person. And one of the things, and that's a flaw in my character, is that I like the beginning and the end of something. It starts here and it ends here. That all that stuff in the middle does not matter to me. And then you have to understand that in order to keep your marriage going, you have to be in touch with some of that stuff in the middle, because she wants to be able to communicate with that stuff in the middle to be able to understand what happens, so we won't get to the same ending
Right.
all the time.
Right.
So that was always a hard thing for me to do. I just recently actually started the whole conversation, and this is after almost 28 years of marriage.
Yes.
I'm just now in 2024 starting to actually turn around and be able to communicate a lot better.
Yeah. It's who I think another important thing is learning to communicate, but also to be able to adjust. Like, you cannot be in a marriage and not put in the work. A marriage is work. Any relationship, whether it is romantic or not, takes work. But a marriage is with somebody that you decide, I want to spend the rest of my life with, right? On this side of glory. Like, I'm going to grow with this person, grow old with this person, invest in this person, put time and a family and my goals and my dreams and all that. We're going to do this together. We walk in this earth together.
Through richer, through poor,
right,
through sickness
and health.
All
So it's
those
an
things
investment of time and energy. So that is work. And it's crazy to me, because I think one of the greatest things I think that I was given by my parents, to be really honest, is understand that aspect of marriage. They gave me that. They showed me that. My mom, my dad literally showed me that it took work. I watched my father have a stroke. I watched my mom work with him and be with him and support him. I watched him support her, make sure she was able to get her college degree, get her career going. And he took care of her when my father was not physically able to go out and get her like Valentine's Day gifts and stuff because he was sick. He made sure we did it for him. And when he was at home for being disabled, he made her breakfast when she got to get up and went to work. I mean, I watched them be this team, and put in that work through all of the life moments. And so I thank God for that they showed me that. So when I went into a marriage, I knew it would take work. Now, let me be really honest. I didn't know it was going to take as much work as it took, because my husband is not my dad. He's a different type of person, and every person is different. And I come with my own baggage and my own issues that he had to deal with as well. But my point is that it just takes work. And to watch, a lot of people have this, this image of what marriage is. It's very selfish.
But I think
very
too,
selfish. Don't you think so? Like today,
absolutely.
You think people are very, very selfish. Just, I hear people say this. Well, what can you do for me?
Mm-hmm.
What can I get out of this? That's the focus of everything. Me.
That's the focus because society has made it the focus. Every time you look up and you're looking at Instagram and you're looking at Facebook and all these different social media outlets, and everything is about wealth and making money, and I'm not dealing with this guy because he don't have this type of money. And you ask a young lady, and this is just on some regular out in the street, and they just ask a random girl, would you date a man that makes less than $100,000 a year? She said, absolutely not. I wouldn't date a man that makes $100,000 a year, because what can he do for me?
Wow.
And
they making that the norm.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so crazy to me, because somebody's hearing this and they're saying, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Y'all are making certain things that should not be the norm. It's just really, really crazy to me. I have standards, is what they'll say.
Yeah.
I have standards, and I have a certain way of living that I'm accustomed to, and I make, $150,000. Why would I want somebody that only make $100,000 or make $60,000? Why would I want that? He can't do for me. I can do for myself. I mean, and this goes both sides. I am, I'm for the ladies. I am for the ladies. There's some guys out there with some expectations from women that they don't have anything themselves.
To hold up to. Right.
They don't have anything to offer themselves.
And if you think a man just say, okay, you have to offer me a sex can come from anywhere.
Yeah.
We can get that from anybody, anywhere. Yeah. Sex is not just it. And when the sex goes away,
Yeah.
and you get older,
Yeah.
then what do you rely on?
We
What do you
talked
have at
about
that point?
a lot.
What do you
We
have?
share that a lot with our kids before they even, date or get married or anything. I know I've had one-on-one conversations because once again, my upbringing it kicks in. And my thing has always been, let me tell you something. If you're basing your relationship off sex alone, good luck. Good luck. Because life be lifing and things happen. And if you're not able to perform your duties in those areas, or that person gets sick and they're not able to do those things, then what do you have?
And we actually, you know what? I asked a young person the same
And
question.
what did they say?
And this is exactly what they said. They said the scenario was, if we put you, if your significant other was in a bad car accident,
Yeah.
heaven forbid,
Yeah.
was in a bad car accident, and they became paraplegic.
Right.
So all of that sex and everything is done.
Yep.
First it was, well, it depends on how old I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the first thing.
Because if they're young, they can just move on.
And this person was, I said, no, okay, your age.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about your age. It happened now.
Mm-hmm.
You've been with this person. You've been with them, I'll say 5 or 6 years. And now all of a sudden he was in an accident and now he's paraplegic. Would you continue that relationship? You know the feelings that you have for that person. You know that you truly do love that person at this point. It's not a like anymore. It's more of a love. So you know you love that person, but would you continue in that relationship with that quote unquote love that you're getting, which you think is love, and it really probably ain't love. You got a lust more than a love. Yeah. But they said, no, I'm young. No, I wouldn't deal with him anymore. I would have to leave him alone because I'm young and I can't deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And coming up in the time that, where we are, even when we were young, it was we felt like, I wouldn't care if Michelle was all of a sudden injured or blind or whatever the case may be. I would still be with her to this day. We would still be married for going on 28 years.
Yeah.
But that goes to say that we had no hidden expectations for each other, saying that it didn't matter if you were rich. It didn't matter because when she met,
about it.
we didn't even think about it because
that.
when
we didn't have anything.
Right, full transparency, I was pop. I have been at the point where I was actually sleeping on a park bench when I was younger. So it's not about money. Now we grew together and then we amassed things and end up with whatever, but.
Yeah, we literally, now that you say it, it's so funny. When we first got together, we didn't care. We didn't have anything. We were dating, had nothing. I was in college, and I was living the college life. College people are broke. So I was living off credit cards a lot. And we didn't have any money, but we loved each other's company. Yeah. So much. And that's another thing, like, I don't get it. We have conversations with young people and we ask certain questions and they don't. I had somebody tell me, as I said, about going out when we were younger, we would go downtown. We didn't have a lot of money. We would share salad.
We literally did. We went to the Drake Hotel. We went to the Drake Hotel. I didn't have any money. She didn't have any money. Well, I had very little money. I had enough to get us downtown to go to the Drake Hotel, and I wanted the experience. We were going to have the experience of doing it, going to this fancy hotel and eating and all this stuff. So we could only afford a salad. And so we had a salad. We shared the salad. Right. And then they brought us bread. And then we were eating the bread. And the bread was so nasty. I think I actually took the butter because we're young. We don't know any better. I took the butter and put the bread back together and smashed it back together and put it back in the basket as if we had to.
And we laughed so much. We would. It was the best time. And as I was sharing these kind of stories with somebody that was younger, and they were saying, well, that's just, I'm not into all that. We don't have to do all that. Because I was talking about just sitting around all the time. They're young and they're just, dating or whatever. And I was saying about getting out and, getting to know each other in different environments. And they was just saying that, that's not their thing. And they don't have to do all that and, and all that. But I was just, reminiscing over how we were. We were so broke that we would count change just to put in his gas tank sometimes. But we did it. Like, I didn't complain. I don't ever remember me saying, "Hey, you too broke for me." I don't want to be bothered with you. But because number one, he was gonna always find a way to, make sure that I was, happy or whatever. But I never pressured him even dating about money, because it was more about spending time together. We would go to walking, and we would go to the mall with no money just to look.
around.
And we made, oh my God, we spent so much time driving down Lakeshore Drive,
listening to
jazz, making plans for our future.
Yeah.
That was like the biggest thing that we did for so long, because we were constantly trying to figure out how we can make it with what he had. Once again, I was still in college, what he was making, and what my, life would be after college and all this, and how we could make it with just his income at that time. And we were budgeting in our heads and sometimes on paper, and we were just talking, and we was listening to jazz and driving down that Lakeshore Drive, and we was just happy to be together and have that future ahead of, being with someone I felt that was your partner.
But you know what? You said something a few minutes ago about we wanted to get to know each other.
Yeah.
And the problem with a lot of the youth now, they don't try to get to know each other. They only try to get to know the perception that they want to give you, what they want to put out there for you to see.
Right.
Facebook, so on and so forth. Those images that they show on Facebook, the reason they don't spend all that time together and going, like we say, driving downtown and talking to each other and things like that, because they want to.
They didn't have sex before they did any of that.
They want to FaceTime and talk to each other so they can continue on that facade.
Yep.
And once they actually get to really know each other, spend some time together, like you say, we were talking a few weeks ago, we were talking about how COVID broke up a lot of people because they had to spend time together.
And that's, oh my God. If you go back
together
and listen to some stories during COVID, relationships that broke up, people who were done because they could not stand to be in the same house.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they have big houses too.
Mm-hmm.
They could not stand being in the same house with these people that they had been married to for years, but realize, I don't really like you that much.
I don't really like you because now I get to see who you actually are and not who you showed me that you were.
Because you were just passing, ships passing. Right. You're going to work, you're going to your different functions, you're going to your parties, you're going to your whatever, dealing with, even if you have kids, dealing with your kids, everything is a distraction. So you're not really paying attention to each other one-on-one. We've had the pleasure, to be really honest, to spend a lot of time just one-on-one. We did that like earlier in our marriage, where even though we had our child, we had a honeymoon baby, which a lot of people don't know, but we had a honeymoon baby. So we had a baby, really quick in our marriage. But even after that, we were able to, because of my sister being a great babysitter, we was able to spend a lot of one-on-one time. We would go away even overnight somewhere. We would go to Great America by ourselves still. We was able to do a lot of things just one-on-one, talking, realizing, even though we were so opposite, what we had in common. Like we like to people watch.
Yeah.
We love to people watch, and we crack up laughing about it sometimes. And that's something we can do together. And it's so funny though, because now we've been together for so long. We get so many strangers that look at us and go, and I mean, literally stop us in public and go, "Oh my God, you guys look so great together. You guys look much," they don't know our age or our age of our kids, of course. And so when we tell them, "Hey, we've been, married for 28 years. And, "Oh no, that's impossible. Get out of here." They can't believe, "Yes, ma'am, I got a grown son who got a wife of his own." And they're so shocked by that. And I think that's just because we've literally been together for so long.
We've been together longer on this earth together than we have been apart.
That
we have, though. We have literally been on this earth longer together than we've been apart.
Yeah. We don't want to come across perfect, because we're far from that. We've had, and I don't even want to say some bumps. We've had big old pitfalls in our marriage. And so to be effective in this podcast, I just want to make sure you understand that we're not saying that we have all the answers and that we figured everything out and that, our marriage has been rosy. No, we just been married long enough to know, what works for us, what
And
don't
what right.
work for us, and how to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
Are there moments that I don't want to talk to him? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Are there moments I look at him and roll my eyes? Absolutely. Often, okay? But it's okay. It's okay. I think what I like that I'm seeing in our getting older, and I love getting older with my husband. I'm gonna be really honest with you. It's the coolest thing in the world. I'm gonna tell anybody that if you married somebody young and y'all just watch each other get older, it is like the funniest thing in the world. It is hilarious to see all of a sudden he like, hey, this is aching. Hey, my toe is this, or hey, and just, even watching his gray come in, watching my gray come in.
Yeah, I tried to get rid of my grades. She was like, would you stop doing that to your face?
It's cute. Now, I mean, I like it on him, and I realized the reason why I liked it on him is because I've watched this guy go from a 17-year-old to
almost 50.
This man is almost 50. This year he'll be turning 49. Yes, we tell our age on this podcast. And y'all already know I just made 50 on February the 3rd. So, yes. So to watch him turn from, 17, I threw him an 18th birthday. I did that. Mm-hmm. I gave him a cake. I had pictures to prove it. I gave him a cake. I had him little snacks and everything. And we celebrated together his 18th birthday. And now we're getting ready to, look at him turn 49. So I think that is like super cool to watch, him get older and change. And I think what I'm liking lately is that normally he's a Taurus, so he's very stubborn, very, very, very stubborn. And I'm watching him now kind of, be willing to wiggle. A little bit, like shift a little bit, like.
That's because I'm getting too old to argue.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Whatever.
I'm just getting too old to argue.
Whatever.
And it's not worth the argument at the end of the day. It's just not.
I
worth
like the
argument.
wiggle room that I'm getting.
Yeah,
because at first it used to be a lot of, I'm wrong, but I'm sticking by my guns because I'm too old to change. And I'm like, oh no. Life, and we know on this podcast we talk all the time about. Is clicking that reset button. We can always change. We can always adjust. We can always, go back, reflect, realize what we've done wrong, and correct that. It's nothing worse than an old fool. I just can't do it. I can't do it.
Well, that's the kind of stuff that we try to pass on to younger people when we talk to them. And this generation, their view on relationships and how relationships should be structured and you just that's the old way of thinking and all these kind of things and you get to looking at I talk to guys and they talk about man, it's cool, man, we have an open relationship. Let me tell you something. There is absolutely no scenario that I would ever imagine my wife being with some other man. Are you kidding me? And the young man's talking to me as if this is like the normal thing to do, and this is what makes you have great relationships and what keeps everything spicy.
Well, they care more about them bringing women than a woman having another man. To be honest, a lot of them. I mean, some are just straight swingers and all that kind of stuff, but some men. It seems to me like the majority seems to care more about bringing another woman into their lives versus a woman being able to, have another man in her life.
Because no man wants to have his woman, imagine his woman being with another man. Because I can tell you this, that if you do, and you're listening to this and you can see, okay, well, yeah, open relationship works for me. That could work for me. Let me tell you something. You do not truly love that woman.
Okay.
You are in lust or in like. It is not love. I can guarantee you that, because any woman that you physically and truly love, you could never imagine a man holding her hand, kissing her cheek, touching her forehead, let alone having sex with her.
Okay, you didn't got all razzled down.
But that's the truth. I mean,
really passionate about
you know what? I get passionate about it, especially when I talk to men and they try to spin the scenario as if, this is the best thing, man. You don't understand. You don't know what you're missing. No, I know what I'm missing. I know exactly what I'm missing. I'm missing a headache. I'm missing STDs.
Okay.
I'm missing all kind of stuff.
But it goes back to what we were saying when I said a lot of people are even started off with their relationship, they're having sex before they're even getting to know a last name.
But you know what? It's even beyond the sexual.
No, because the problem with that is, just my little tidbit, the problem with that is if all you all are doing is doing that and you don't know nothing else, right? You're never satisfied. You would never be okay with that particular person.
Yeah. No, you know
with
what it is
that particular person.
Right.
You're going to always need something else. Because you feel like, well, you know, hey, I got an appetite, you know?
Yep.
And the thing is, if you truly love what he's trying to say in a very passionate way, I think, is that if you really, 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 really love the person that you are with and you really, really want to respect them and yourself and y'all covenant, right? Your relationship, then you're not even thinking about bringing somebody else in there into this you know, agreement that you all have, this covenant that you all have, this partnership that you all have. Like there's you do not want to do that.
But if you understand and get to know each other and have a true partner, that woman will become any other woman that you want her to become when it's that time. And you feel like my sexual appetite is here, that woman will become anything that you want her to become doing their sexual appetite or whatever you want to do.
And vice versa, because you know we have this conversation a lot. One of my biggest oh my God, we can go on and on. But one of my biggest frustrations is just to hear men talk about what their needs are, what they like a woman to look like, what she need to dress like, how she need to come to bed a certain way, why she got this on, why you need to change. I mean, we've had the biggest blowouts of discussion in our household with our family, even other guests that we have over about that, because it's always seems so one-sided. You know, like a man would say, oh, I don't like her coming to bed with that on. She need to put this on, put that. But what are you coming to bed with? That's always my answer, my question to their question. What are you coming to bed in? What are you looking like? Are you like, do you think that everything that you doing physically is what she wants as well? Like, it can't just be one side.
We can become trifling at
times. Absolutely.
Yeah,
but for some reason, I don't have any idea why, the narrative is always the men who's telling women, you know, y'all need to stop coming to bed with those bonnets on y'all heads and coming to bed with the moo-moos on y'all. Need to do this, do that. What do you come to bed in, sir?
Ain't nothing wrong with a moo-moo now. If it ain't nothing, let me go. All right, I'll stop. I gotta be filtered. I forgot.
Right, but they, you know, have these opinions about just what women should be like. And like you were just saying, people who want to have threesomes and all that stuff, it's normally the men who are saying they want a woman inside the bedroom or whatever. It's just, it's so, you know, one-sided with this.
You know what?
It's frustrating to me as a woman just to hear men be so demanding as to what they feel like their needs are superseding the needs of a woman as well. Let's be very, because we grown. Women have needs just like a man do.
Yeah, but you know what? Just like the
and they like what they like, just like a man like. That she might not like your white beater on and your belly hanging. Hold on, and your belly hanging over.
First of all, I ain't got no belly.
I'm not saying you specifically, but I just mean period. Because I'm visualizing some men who say it and what they be looking like. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, you are no shade to anybody who's struggling with their weight, but, you know, you're like obese and you telling this woman she too big. What in the world are we talking about? You know, it's like you need to, you know, deal with what you got going on before you start judging somebody else and what it men do not. And I mean, whether she is like your wife, your girlfriend, or whatever, do not feel like that you have to demean a woman in order for you to elevate yourself.
Yeah, but I don't think men try to demean.
Oh, you don't think
elevate themselves?
Oh,
I don't think it's an elevation of themselves.
What do you think it is?
It's in their personality.
To be disrespectful.
To be dominant. To be dominant.
How is that dominant?
To be dominant, because a lot of guys, because I know a lot of street cats.
Okay,
and you know
I'm listening.
Yeah. That you tear them down to be able to build them back up.
That's ignorant.
You break them down in their mind, whereas that the only thing that they like and rely on is you.
Well, that's ignorant.
The only thing that they're going to ever want is you.
That make you insecure, though.
Absolute facts.
Okay,
Absolute
we
facts.
agreeing. Because
Absolute
that means
facts.
you're insecure
Yep.
individual.
Yep.
Once again, if you have to demean anybody.
Yep. Tear them
Or-
down
right.
to make yourself
But
feel bigger.
you actually
But
agreeing with me,
yeah.
babe. You just
I'm-
don't know that you are, but you're agreeing with me. You're agreeing with me. Because
but it's a motive behind it. I'll say that.
It's
He
a
has
terrible,
motive.
it's a terrible,
It-
terrible motive.
Well, not in his eyes.
Okay. Well, let me
Not
tell
in
you
his
something. Let me tell you something. Old folks say what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Well,
So
it is.
if you keep sowing those type of seeds, you're gonna get that stuff back. You better stop.
Yeah, but then you know what? It's just like we had the discussion, not too long ago at a party, and we were talking about how the body count of these young
Lord.
people, and it might be some people on here that don't know what I'm talking about when I call body count. So, but I'll break it down. Body count meaning
This is about to be
This
is about to be an interesting
your
conversation.
sexual how many people you done had sex with.
Right.
So I had a guy tell me that he slept with over 200 different women.
Mm.
And oh man, you're like, bro, that's the norm. He's like, man, that's nothing. He said that was just in the last couple of years.
Please let us know if that's the norm.
Let me
y'all.
tell you something.
Please comment and let me know if that's the norm. I need to know that.
If you have a body count of over 200 people, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You will never be satisfied.
Yeah.
You could never be satisfied. Understand this. A woman or a male can only do so much.
Right.
Their body can only do so many different things.
Right.
It's going to get to the point where even when you get into a marriage, this person wasn't married, but they had been married before. But when you're in a marriage, then your expectations can never be met.
200 is
200 different
200
people
is
is
mind
insanity.
blowing to me. It's and I'm not coming from a place of judgment at all. It just literally mind blowing to me. I don't understand.
Hell, I can't name 200 people, let alone 200 people.
And I was thinking that. I'm thinking to myself, can I sit here and name off or even write on a piece of paper from memory?
People?
But the fact is, they don't know all those people. Let's be realistic.
Right. Oh yeah.
They're
You
going
can't
to
know 200
parties.
people.
They're going to clubs. They're going to social events.
Right.
And they're just, randomly sleeping with these people.
Right.
Once again, I don't even know their last name. So they can't write it down either. I'm sure of it, So that is a crisis to me. That's a crisis. If that's the state of where we are as a society and a community, to think that the norm is to, sleep with, 200 people. And you know what? I always say this because I know somebody is in the background going, oh my God, you guys are so corny. You guys are so, y'all goofs. Because that is like, ain't nothing wrong with that because y'all ain't out there doing that. I'm living. I got to live my life,
Sound like you tired all the time.
I'm worn out just hearing it, okay? This is too much for me. But somebody out there who thinks that, hey, and let me say something. That goes back to what we start off this saying is that what works good for somebody else is not going to work good for everybody. Obviously, we're not those people. We're not people. I'm not that person, and my husband is not that person where we're sleeping like 200 different people. That's just not our thing. And if that other person can share that and be comfortable and confident with it, then obviously they thought at the time for sure that it was the right thing, and they was happy with their choices.
And I would love to have a conversation with someone that actually had a successful open relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say successful, I mean some time put in. Don't tell me that we've been together for 2 years and it's been working like this.
Because everything we heard, it don't work.
No, it don't work because one person ended up getting their feelings hurt because someone falls for the other person even more. Because I know you hate when I say this because when a man has sex with a different woman or multiple women, it's not an emotional connection for us. We could have sex with 50 different women and not feel a thing for any one of them. Because we're not emotional beings.
So
we're not made up that way.
that's how you try to say that the person can have sex with 200 people.
Yeah, because it's for him, it's just sex. With a woman, most of the time they get an emotional connection.
And I'm going to tell you how ignorant that sounds. That sounds so ignorant because you do have women who do that for a profession. Yeah. So it does not have to be emotional connection.
I didn't say it's all women.
That's
it's not all men.
It's not all men. You should stop saying that because it's just not true.
Our genetic makeup is that women are more sensitive and more in tune with their feelings more than men.
Yeah.
That's just our genetic makeup. That's just how we are.
Yeah.
So when women have sex with men, there's some form of emotional connection with that
No,
man.
all the time.
That's why men get an attitude, and we think about it.
That's your thoughts.
But
that is your personal
my
thoughts.
woman being with any other man. My mind
That's
goes
your
back.
personal
Man,
thoughts.
she really must really like this dude.
No, that's your personal thoughts, and that's unfortunate. But that's your personal thoughts to think that every woman who lays with a man or whatever most likely will form some type of feelings. There are many women who have had sexual encounters with men and there's no emotional connection. She feels just.
I'm not talking about
Let's
pros.
go back. Let's go
Not
back.
pros.
No.
Not pros.
Let's go back to a basic movie that we both know we have in common. Just came to me. Wayne 6L. Remember Whitney Houston? Remember she made a connection with that guy? She had no feelings for this guy. What she said, I just need to get my feet wet. Like, there are women who think like, listen, I need it, I want it. Let me call this guy because this is what he is for. There's no connection with this guy. She's not thinking about that guy any other way. But listen, this is what I need for right now. And this is why I'm calling this guy.
So
yes,
given the opportunity, see, in our mind, me as a man, this is what I'm thinking. You say, okay, well, this man just lays it down, and this is all I need him for. I need him to come in here and take care of business.
That's what they say.
At any point in time where you feel like this man is ready to settle down, with most of men that settle down when they get older, this man is ready to settle down and all this. Tell me you ain't in your mind. You like, well, now I can have it all.
Once again, it's the arguments that we have because you assume that every woman wants to settle down. My husband is very old school in his thinking. He really, really is. And we often have arguments about those type of things because he just makes a lot of assumptions because he's old school and thinking that way. Now, I'm old school, but I'm able to be progressive in my thinking.
No, everybody wants to settle down eventually.
No.
Everybody wants to settle. That's crap. Everybody wants to settle down eventually. There is nothing worse than seeing some old woman in the club chasing.
What?
That is awful.
Okay, so what about the old man in the club chasing?
It's awful for him too. You
Okay,
clown, you 50, 60, 70 years old and you in the club chasing after some young girl or whatever.
Chase,
that's crazy.
Listen,
everybody wants to settle down at some point in their life.
If you all disagree, please comment because I personally feel like because I know and have had friends who do not care about marrying a man. They do not care about settling down with a man. They're fine with themselves. If it didn't happen, it just didn't happen, and they're fine. They got their own stuff. They're going. They can go on a date. They can have friends. They can be out socially with the guy. But do they have to marry him and bring him into the house and all that? No, they don't. They're plenty women. Please tell him this. You all please comment.
I'm not saying that they don't exist, but I said the majority rules. The majority is that everybody eventually wants to be with somebody and settle down with somebody eventually. Period. I don't care. Just like what we were saying.
So you think men
are the same way? Men, women, absolutely.
If you believe that men. See, we about to open up
Pandora's box.
Ooh, Lord, I'm about to give it to you. You are scared.
I ain't scared.
You
Come on,
should
open
be
it
scared.
up. Why?
So if you feel like men, ultimate goal, the majority, because he said the majority.
I didn't say it's an ultimate goal. Don't do that.
My God.
I said within time. I just said
okay. So within time, you're saying that the majority, of men as well, want to settle down?
Eventually. Eventually.
I disagree.
Why?
Because I'm saying this because you're saying eventually, and that is too much to unpack for me to say. But I'm gonna say this: your actions show me what your real intentions are. So if you've had a pattern, and I'm saying something else. I'm trying to keep my thoughts. A lot of women are getting frustrated with men with that type of attitude. You just said it. And you don't even know that you said it. Women are so sick of men who want to be a little dog for like half of their lives. And then like the 200 guy. And then turn around and then want to settle down and she got to deal with all that you done did your whole life. But now, because you know you enter into the age where you know you're gonna need somebody to be there for you, cater, help you and support you and all this. Now you want to give to this woman the little bit that you have left. Because let me tell you something. Once you done ran through all those women and ran through all those clubs and ran through doing whatever you was good and bad and bold enough to do, that's a little bit of you left. It ain't no quality left. There ain't no real value.
How do you know it's not quality left? Because him running through all them people,
yeah,
he is ready to be quality.
No, he's not.
Is.
Ricky.
Yes, he is.
Ricky.
He's ready to be quality now.
Ricky. If I take a rock and have water constantly going through it, it begins to change. And rock is solid and all that. You can't have something running through anything for so long and it still maintains the quality of that product. That is just a lie.
Well, we
change everything because over time, our TVs, our irons, everything, over time, with much use, it loses its quality.
But understand this.
If
you've been with the same person and they're doing it, I get it.
Our pastor said what? She said, love your spouses in their youth, right? She's saying that it's there. Because in your youth is when you begin to create that foundation. Like I said, watching you get older and all that good stuff, right?
But everyone's not going to be us.
Everyone is
not going to be us. Been together since we've been
we're talking about, you're saying these men who want to live their lives until they're God knows how old. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, Papa, Mr. Pop Pop, he old now, he Mr. Pop Pop. He wants to turn around and settle down because he done ran through as many women as he can. And now he realized...
How do you know that unless you ask, though?
Ask what?
How do you know if he's ran through that many women
you were literally saying... Because the conversation that we were saying.
Yeah.
You were saying about a man after he went and did whatever he wanted to do for so long, he wants to settle down with this woman. And I'm telling you from a woman's perspective, women are getting tired of men who decide to just run through women their whole lives. And then get to a certain old age. We're talking about old now. We're not talking about young. We're talking about old.
So
get to that old age.
You're talking about older than us. You ain't talking about us. See, we're young.
No, okay, let's use our age. We can do that. We can say that. He done did everything he was been bad enough to do. All the way through his 20s. All through his 30s. He darn near hitting 50 now. Mm-hmm. And he feel like, well, I got to settle down now. You know. Mm-hmm. And let me pull her out. She been faithful and hanging around for a while. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now
I see where you at. You're saying go back and reach back and grab.
He can't reach back.
Somebody else that they were already with.
Or somebody new. Mm-hmm. It don't matter. My problem is, what makes you think she want to be bothered? Which I've heard people say, like even on social media, they're sick of that. They're sick of these men who feel like they just want to do whatever they want to do their whole entire lives. Now you getting old and you're gonna start needing your meds and everything else.
But I'm not talking about reaching back and grabbing somebody.
No, I'm just saying anybody new, but it don't have to be old.
If you're in a relationship or getting ready to look for a relationship, I'll say that. You're about to look for a relationship. Now I'm at this point now, I want a true relationship, a true one-on-one relationship. Now we're going to start to do the things that we talk about how we did when we're driving along Lakeshore Drive and we're talking about plans together and we're doing this thing. We're sitting down and physically getting to know each other. Because that's what young people don't do now. The guy running through 200 different women like that, you're not sitting down having conversations.
Right.
We're not getting to know each other. But once you get to that age, and now I'm talking about these guys that want to, now I'm ready to settle down. Now we're going to get to the get to know you stage. Now I want to have a conversation about you.
You said after he didn't did all he wanted to do.
After he didn't did all he wanted to do.
He has not been really committed to any woman.
Nope.
Now he almost 50.
Yep.
And you saying now somebody's supposed to pay attention to him?
And you saying they won't?
I'm just asking you.
I'm saying that...
It depends the type of person he was all that time.
It depends on the type of person, because you have to understand this.
I'm coming from a standpoint
of you don't know this man.
No, I'm just...
You met this man.
We're generalizing this man. Stop.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not saying you a specific person or anything. I'm just generalizing a man that has literally I've said like 15 times, ran through women, ran through them.
But you don't know that.
Which mean, I don't know it. Okay, nobody knows it. Okay,
Right.
but he has done it. Okay, he has been not a very respectable man when it comes to the value of a woman for all these years. And while I'm saying that is because he's played with her feelings. Okay. He's been in and out, with women, and he has not been respectful of women. Now he's getting to an age where he needs to settle down. He wants to settle. This is what he wants to do now. Why should a woman give him any type of attention? Why?
I feel like this. Now, the way you just expressed it just now is saying that now he done ran through all these women and he done did all these things all his life, and now he wants to pretty much reach back. Now all of a sudden, oh babe, I feel like I'm gonna be a good man now. I'm a good man. Let's go ahead and make this thing right. First of all, dude, don't go reaching back, because one, she's gonna always have that thing in her mind of how bad you were as a youth, as a young man. How you ran through all these women, y'all were friends, y'all did this and you did that. She's gonna always reach back and grab that. So new. It's always go forward.
Okay, say it's
and get somebody new.
Let's continue the story. It's forward. Somebody's new. Now, let's make this very clear. If a woman is around his age, I'm that age, right? So if a woman's that age, we're grown. We're older, grown women. We're not little girls. So we're going to ask the right questions, because the first thing we're going to want to know is, why have this man
been all these years and never been married?
What has he been doing?
And that's the same thing a man's asking.
Right. She's going to be asking that. What has he been doing? What kind of guy was he?
Why is he
And women are great investigators. We ask the right questions. You might not ask the right question of a woman, but she know all the right questions. She gonna watch your mannerism. She gonna watch your expressions. She gonna watch your tone. She gonna watch everything, and she will know if he was jumping from everybody and being disrespectful to everybody.
So you're not gonna physically ask the body count. You're not going to say,
it depends on that woman. She might.
You getting to know this man. You really want to get to know this man. I'm putting you in this.
You
really want to get to know this man.
I don't think I've ever thought of asking a person what their body count was. That was something that young people seem that was doing, but I never have thought about that. Right. Have I asked, was there anybody else that I've asked you that, how many partners of people that you've been with, but it's not something that I think, of course, it's right in the door saying that question. But there will be trigger questions that I'm going to ask that's going to make me know if I should
lead you up into this.
Yes, absolutely. Because when you're at this age, you're not playing.
Right.
You're not playing anymore.
Absolutely.
And that's without saying anything specifically about anybody and, anything, but just knowing that we know of an older guy who had a woman wait forever, and then turned around, and after she waited for God knows what reason, she waited, and all of a sudden, she's honored. We're celebrating. She's honored that she waited like over 20 years or something.
Right.
Come on. What in the world? That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
But that's why I said bring it forward.
It's the mentality. It's the mentality that I do not get. But even reaching forward, now we talked about this a lot too. I'm not generalizing. I'm not saying this is always a scenario, but a lot of these men who sit there, get to that age, an older woman, his age, won't even look at him because of things that I just said. She already know something wrong with Pop. Okay, Pop did some stuff. Yeah. So Pop is gonna reach down to a young girl. Okay, and you know what the young girl want from Pop?
Money.
That's all she want. Pop is delusional in thinking that this 20-something-year-old girl wants Pop.
I'm a firm believer in that. I get sick and tired of seeing all these older
guys.
Oh
my God!
Like, man, are you serious?
Yes.
She is 20 years your junior.
He is serious.
And you gonna mean to tell me, no, man, she loved me and I love her. Man, be for real.
Yeah, one of the funniest stories I ever told my husband is that, I was a case worker for years, and I had this guy come in his late 50s, and he had a 2-year-old. And his 2-year-old was all over the place. And he told me that he had, relations with a young woman from a different country, and she had that baby and ran off and left him with the baby. And his
That's what
mom
he did.
told him that he was horrible at choosing women. His mom told him, "You're terrible at choosing women." And his son was just all over the place. And he looked at me. He said, "Oh, he's looking for a new mom." And I said, "We gonna keep on looking because I'm married, sir." But it was funny because his mom told him, he was in his late 50s, and his mom is still telling him, "You're terrible in the decision that you're making with the people that you decide to procreate with."
Mhm.
He's 56 years old and got a 2-year-old. Because Pop thought Pop thought that the younger girl wanted him, and she didn't. She wanted what he can give to her.
But see, you know what? And men think about it the same way. Okay, if I see a woman and she's 50 years old, okay, and she has never been married before. She has 4 kids, never been married before, and she's 50 years old. And we're gonna go out on a date. What kind of questions you think I'm gonna ask that woman?
I don't
Wait a
know.
minute.
What kind of questions
You know what
are you
kind of
gonna
questions I'm gonna ask? I'm
I
gonna
wanna
say
know.
I really want to know. I'm gonna say, you know what?
Are you going to ask this for real though?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I really want to know that you're 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You have 4 children and you've never been married.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
I'll say why.
Mm-hmm.
I would ask physically why,
Mm-hmm.
and wait for her to tell me, because it's important to know that a woman that has not been with someone and not gotten married in I'll say 30 years, because I'll give them 20. So in 30 years you haven't gotten married, but you have 4 different kids. You have 4 kids, and you've never settled down. Why is that?
Yeah.
You got all these things you all put together. I mean, you got your own place, you got your own cars, you got all these things going on, but you never settled down. Is it by choice, or is it what? Have you ever been engaged or anything? You know what I'm saying? These are the questions that
So
we're
what
gonna
she said, she just never found the right person.
in 50 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then my next question would be, what is the right person? Because some people's expectations are so unrealistic due to a lot of things that they go through during their life. And he's got to be rich, and he's got to be this height, and he's got to have this with his credit score, which I agree with. He has to have these things going on. They have this package in their mind that's unrealistic, because it's something that they've created off of pieces of people on television, or pieces of things that happen that they see on the internet, and they put this person together in their mind that doesn't freaking exist.
Do you think that the more time that you're alone or single, I'm going to use the word single, is it more sometimes challenging, probably, like the older that you get, to bring somebody into the world that you created without a significant other?
Absolutely, especially if you've never been in a really true committed relationship,
Right.
where, as I say, or been married before or something like that. If you haven't, and you get to our age, and then now all of a sudden you say, okay, well, you know what? I think I really want to be married now.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to bring someone into that inner circle of your life, because you've already established yourself. You got to understand, you 50 years old, you've never had any form of commitment like that. And so now, what do I do?
I've had those conversations. That's why I'm asking you. And one of the things that I did bring up was, do you think that you put up these barriers or these expectations from somebody that you're never going to get? Because this is not even possible, really, to be honest. But do you think that you've done that? I've asked those questions from individuals that I know.
Made a wall.
Right. Yeah. I know who have never been married or have had like a long relationship or anything within, and they're like in their, 50s at this time. And so I've asked those questions before, because I kind of wondered, because they're good people,
right? And
they do want to get married eventually.
But I think the hidden thing with them is that once you've been together, been by yourself for so long, you do something that you can't have in an established a good relationship. When you have a good relationship, you can't be selfish. And when you have been, and you have had no regard for anybody's feelings but yours, and all of these years you've been single, So I don't have to cater to anybody else's feelings. I don't have to do anything with somebody else that I really don't
See,
want to
that's
do.
the problem though, because and I think in the so many parts of our relationship, we've had that issue, I feel like, because for me coming in, it was like I didn't feel like I was selfish because, or need to be selfish because I feel like it was a team thing, right?
Mhm.
I never singled out myself.
Mhm.
I was a wife and then I was a mom. It went from
Mhm.
like that. I went from a wife to a mom. So I couldn't even afford to be selfish. Like I ain't had no time to be selfish.
Mhm.
So there was a lot of moments I think in our relationship that I felt like, you were like Team Ricky, to be honest, and it was a lot of selfish behavior that was there, and it took you some time as well inside our relationship, inside our marriage, to start to break some of that, because you were a very individual person prior to getting into a marriage. I was an individual person too, but I once again, I literally think it's because I jumped from being a wife to being a mom, and moms just can't, we don't even have time for that. We just a mom. But there were a lot of moments that I kind of felt like, you were choosing to do a lot of things that was just individualized, like just your choices, and regardless of how it would impact me or our family or our relationship or whatever else. So I think that, even in a marriage, that personality still can come out, whether you are single or not. It could come out. It's just the fact that the other person has to, hey, say, listen, what you're doing is affecting us. And
Mhm.
then that person who's
Mhm.
being told that has to be willing to take a look and say, you know what, I might have been moving a little selfish. I
Yep.
might have been a little, and you're right about, let me fix that. Let me
But
change that.
that's what I said earlier in our conversation. We were talking about the communication.
Yeah.
The communication.
Yeah.
So when you have that open lines of communication in a
Because you didn't have to
relationship,
answer nobody before.
no, I didn't have to answer anybody.
No, you didn't.
What am I gonna do? I do whatever I want to do when I want to do it, and that's what I'm saying. So then, when you get to a certain age and you've never had to answer to anybody, you stay.
People get mad at that part of marriage, though. They like, I'm
Yeah,
grown. Why I haven't discussed anything with
That
anybody?
has nothing to do with anything.
It really has nothing to do with respect.
I'll tell you this. Me and as a man, we have a huge problem with
I
that
know.
too. Like, man, I'm gonna go out. All right, well, I'm gonna go out here. I'm going out with so and so. We're going to do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, where you gonna be at?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be where I'm at. What are you talking about? Where I'm gonna be at? I'm gonna do what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Why are you asking me that?
But it's one side again. We ain't gonna go that way, because the woman do the same thing. It'll be a problem. If she say, I'm not telling you where. I'm not telling you who. I'm just gone. I'm out. It'll be a problem, But men sometimes can feel that way. But a woman is not trying to nag a man. She's not trying to pinpoint your location because she want to pop out and see who you with. It's protection for you, to be honest. I grew up in a household. My father was a police officer, and he always had to know where you was. He said, tell your family, because things can happen and no one would know
and
where you are or what's going on.
That's what I learned as we got older.
Yeah.
That's what I learned as we got older. It's not,
corner.
and then that's a good point that I want to say to a lot of men that are listening to this, is that it's not diminishing in your manhood to be able to tell your wife or your significant other where you're doing or where you're going to be at.
Right.
It doesn't diminish you as a man. Like it doesn't diminish you as a man to be in a household to say that, you know what, babe, I want you to be able to take care of everything in this household. I'm going to give you everything and you take care of it. I'm going to give you all the money and you take care of it. It doesn't diminish you as a man.
Right.
It's just saying that she's better at it than you are.
Right.
And 90% of the time, women are better at it than us.
Right. Know your strength, right?
Know your strength. That is
Jesus.
a key part to having a successful relationship and a successful marriage, is know your strengths.
Right. It took you a while to get that, though.
Oh, yeah. It took me a
long time. I don't understand it. It took
and you know what?
Time.
I'm going to be honest with you. It took me a long time to get that. And a lot of it came through working through the marriage, conversations in the marriage, training classes. And conversations with, I know, us as black men, we always, we don't like to say the psychiatrist word, but it came through that realm and allowed me to step back and look in the mirror and see it from a different perspective. Let me see it from her point of view.
Right.
If she did the same things that I'm doing, or says the same things that I'm saying, how would I react?
Exactly.
How would I respond to that?
Exactly.
So that just came with age and conversations with different people, different classes, and the psychiatrist.
Right. It was a lot of things that I could have done, you know, in our marriage as a payback. And I never did. And the reason was so many reasons, but one major reason was thinking about you and how it would impact you and how it would hurt you.
Yeah.
And that's how I knew that it was like a real love that was there.
Yep.
It was a real love was there. And he knows I've been in some of my most vulnerable moments. And I would stop whatever the moment was just to ensure him, I love you. Are you good? Are you fine? Are you okay? Or, you know, I've come out of being sedated and tell him, I love you. Like I knew then, like it's genuine. Like I look at you, the first face I see, and my response is not, what you doing? What, you know, it's, I love you, you know.
Because she knew that because of our conversations, I was riding on the Lakeshore Drive and us getting to know each other and getting to talking to each other. She knew my personality when it comes to things like that. I hate to see her in distress.
Right.
And if anything hurt, this is when we had our first child. And what I say when we was in the hospital, you're not doing this again.
Yeah, he was done.
We're done. We
done.
are absolutely done. When people say, "Oh, it's a beautiful thing when you see the kids
He
born
did
and
not
all
agree.
that stuff," that is a absolute false statement. That is bull. It is not a beautiful thing. It is not. She goes through a lot of pain, and I could not see her going through all that pain and stuff again.
Right.
And 2 kids later.
Yeah.
and
It
2 kids later, we did it again.
It's
twice.
crazy. Our story, because we're gonna sum this up some. The relationship part went way longer than I thought, but our story is not Cinderella.
No,
it's not. It's not all gold and pearls and beautiful things all the time. But it's been a story of resilience, a story of pressure, a story, and the pressure is good because pressure produces
diamonds.
Come on now, come on. And I think that our relationship, the core has always been a friendship. So whenever I felt like the friendship was in any type of disarray or danger or to be compromised, my core would like break, because that's all I felt like we had from the very beginning, is the friendship, the bond of our friendship. And that meant that, you know, I ride with you, you ride with me, we ride together, period. Nobody comes between us. We just didn't play that from the beginning. And that's what we've always spoken. Like, we laugh at the haters who felt like, you know, y'all ain't gonna stay together. And, you know,
5 years.
We was cracking up like, what? We thought that was so funny. Like,
and
we're never mad about it. We always found it to be hilarious because it was me and him. So we didn't really care. Like, we counted on each other. I'm gonna tell you, we counted on each other. We depended on each other. We worked through things together. We made things happen. Like, if it wasn't there, we made it happen. We came together and made things happen. We was able, you know, to just accomplish some stuff that nobody thought would happen or could happen with us together. But we was able to do it because we was rocking together. And that's why I think it's important about relationships. That's why I consider us a team, and I call my family my crew, because we just rock together. And as long as I have, like, you know, my kids and my husband and all of us together, that's all I need. Like, we're rolling together. We going to mini vacations with all of us together and had some of the best experiences together. And we've hurt together, we've cried together. These people were here when I've had my lowest moments of losing, my sister and my dad and my brother and all that. So we're rocking and rolling together. My husband did not budge. She did not leave my side. My kids didn't leave my side. I mean, these are the moments where that relationship stands out. It was moments when my husband, was hurt or something, and and I'm like, he want to hear me, he want to talk to me. And I think that's important. Like, the first thing I think about, even if I'm having a really horrible moment, or you having a horrible moment, the first call you're making is to me. Like, you won't believe what just happened, you won't believe what, my body's doing this, or my body, and I'm doing the same. Like, oh my God, this just happened, my body just did this, my body just did that. And these are like together, and that's when the scripture make it very clear that you do become one.
You become one.
We become one. And I think over the years, and nobody will ever understand what we have. We don't we don't expect anybody to understand what we have. But it has worked for us. The ugly, the bad, the beautiful. It has worked for us for all these years.
And that's what I want to say. That's a good segue into what I was just thinking in my mind. And as you said, that our relationship is exactly what it is, guys. It's our relationship. It's our marriage. But the key thing to longevity in any relationship and any marriage is communication. Communication.
Yes.
You have to be able to talk it through.
Yeah.
And if you're with somebody and you guys can't have a conversation, you can't stand being in the house with each other, you want that person to go get some fresh air most of the time, that may not be the person for you.
Right. Or having to sit out in your car because you don't want to come in the house.
Yeah. Yeah. Though that may not be the person for you.
Yeah,
the sex may be good, other things may be good, but if you can't communicate with each other and have that meaningful conversation and get that meaningful understanding for each other and the way each other feel at that particular time, then that may not be the person for you.
Yeah, you want to get to the point where we're able to now kind of enjoy the fact that our kids are older and, self-sufficient in some ways, in most ways.
Mm-hmm.
And just to be able to, some people have a whole problem about their kids getting older and they becoming empty nesters. We're not those people.
Yeah, that's those people that were just in COVID and couldn't stand being with each other.
We're not. My mom always said, "You guys gonna regret that. You're gonna miss them when they're older." And I've been telling her for years, "No, I'm not.
No, we're not.
No, I'm not." And trust me, I already got one out, and my other son is he's been working on his own, take care of his stuff for 3 years, so he's pretty much self-sufficient. And my youngest, who just graduated, recently and been in college for a year, is getting there as well. So we're good. Like, it's good to have that, to see your kids get older. I don't have any babies anymore, thank God. Nobody's in high school anymore, thank God. And I don't miss it, and I don't dread the day that everybody is doing their own thing. Like, that's never been my thing either. Once again, everybody's different. And my mom used to say to us all the time, "Oh my God, you're going to regret that. You're going to miss him." I miss mine. And I said, "Oh, Mom, that's so sad." Because we enjoy it. Because there's nights that, it's just us or whatever. Or just me. Or, whatever it is. And I enjoy it. I enjoy the peace. I put in the work with my family and my kids. And so I want them to grow older and become the people that I poured into them to be, which is self-sufficient and on their own and doing, making great moves in the world. That's what I want for them, not to be up under me. So I don't regret those moments or those days coming at all. And the little moments that we get now, because they're all older, is like priceless,
Yeah.
They're priceless. And our kids are often, laughing at us because we don't have to communicate verbally sometimes. We just you get it? Yep, I got it. And they're like, "What are y'all talking about? What are y'all doing?" because we've been doing this for so long. So,
And that's the point. That's the point everyone wants to get to in their relationship.
yeah.
Like I said, relationships are not cookie cutter.
Nope.
Guys, they're really not cookie cutter. They're all individuals because we're all different people.
Right.
And so we just have to find that other person that matches with us.
Yes.
So you guys take the time, find your match, have that conversation.
Find your match. And it's not, I mean, we just had the pleasure of being able to do this when we were younger, but you know, everybody might not get that. You might be a little older and you're thinking, there's no, chance for me. I'm so-and-so, I'm in my 40s, I'm in my 30s, and I still haven't found anybody. And
take that wall down.
What they say, the market out here is
Yeah.
horrible
Yeah.
and all these things.
No,
and,
take that wall down and give someone a chance.
Yeah, you
Give
just
them a
got to, and
chance.
it takes some compromising.
Yep.
Compromising does not devalue who you are.
Right.
It's just that if you love somebody,
And
realize
you want to share that space.
right, realize that some things that you got going on is probably not the best for them either.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what the compromise come in. You give a little bit, you take a little bit, you give a little bit, you take a little bit, but remain who you are inside. Right. Remain who you are inside. Your values, your core values, your faith values, your moral values, those things are important. You don't shake and shift those for nobody. But some of those things I don't like the color red. He keeps wearing red. Get over it. Get over it. Get over those little things like that. Her toenails not painted right. Get over that. Get her a date at the pedicure and let you pedicure right. Little things that can be taken care of. Right.
That's how you handle it. If you feel like her feet are not where you think they should be, I dare you to go to Walgreens and grab a pedicure set and you bring it to the house and you come up there and you give her a pedicure yourself. You rub her feet. Believe me, brother, it's gonna go a long
I love
way.
it. Right, rub those feet. Or it's saying, I don't like how he dressed. He like crap.
Go buy
an outfit and say, babe, you don't look good in this. He might look at it and say, you know what? I like this. You're right. I do. I like what I'm looking like. The whole point is for you all to work together and make it happen because it can happen. And we're telling you after 28 years of marriage, 3 kids later, we're still here and it can happen. But make sure you guys put in that work. Listen, we have had a blast. We didn't get to all the topics that we wanted to, but this will not be our last podcast. That's part of my surprise. I will have Mr. Ricky Hall on here much, much more. He wants to do it just as well as I want to have him here. And we're going to talk about other topics that I shared before. Our health, our mental health, leadership. He has so much experience in corporate America. He taught leadership. My husband has a great resume, so we're going to get into that in podcasts in the near future so you can understand why he is qualified to teach you a little bit about, leadership.
Just doesn't go into corporate America. It comes into your family.
It comes to the family, comes to our churches, it comes to everything. So we're about to make some things happen in 2025, and this is just the tip of it, and want to give y'all a taste of who we are and what is to come. Listen, you have been listening to Renewed Mind Revolution podcast with your host and my special guest, Ricky Hawley. It has been our honor and our pleasure to share with you some tips and some tools that we know will assist you to become a better version of yourself, and in this case, it is relationships. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you received something on today. Remember to share it. God bless you. He loves you, but most God loves you. I love you, but God loves you more. God bless you guys and have a great day.